sound. Hear those? Can you hear the bees buzzing in there? Okay, that's another sign that the hive is queenless. When the queen is gone, there's so little pheromone to spread around the hive that the bees are vigorously fanning in order to move what little pheromone is in the hive around. And so that's why this hive is going to be quite a bit louder than the other hives. And they're a little more defensive too. They get demoralized. They don't like being queenless. But in this case, there's not much I can do except introduce a new queen. They are not capable of making a new queen at this point. That's honey, folks.
The white capped?
Yep. See how it's capped over? Mm-hmm. And down in some of the cells that aren't capped, you see some glistening nectar. And that's just nectar being cured. Make sure everybody gets a look at that. Yeah. And when we harvest that, oh, sorry about that. When we harvest that,
take a picture.
We cut the top layer of wax off, and then we throw it in the extractor.
Right.
You get a good luck?
Thank you.
You throw this whole thing in the extractor?
You bet.
Oh,
Bees and all?
No, we take the bees off. Okay. But thing to remember, folks, this frame a week ago was empty. So they're making a fair amount of honey.
Without a queen?
Without a queen. In fact, they tend to make, see how these guys are fanning here? That's another sign that they're queenless. Yeah, even without a queen, they'll make honey. In fact, sometimes the honey prediction, it will be. Yeah, if I don't do something about it, it may not be dead, but what I'll get is I'll get workers starting to lay eggs, and they're infertile eggs, and the only thing that'll come of it are drones. And drones don't bring in pollen or nectar. All they do is mate with the queen. That's a hive's last gasp at spreading its genome, but it'll eventually die out without a queen. Yeah.
Can you consider the fact that they're just hanging out here a sign that there's something wrong? Because it looks like the one over there, they're just going right in.
The entrance here is kind of small, and there's not a lot of ventilation for this hive. So, yeah, they do tend to hang out here on the porch. That's not a bad sign, but that's actually pretty observant. Because if I wasn't running this pollen trap, they probably wouldn't be doing that.
They're not like, where's my queen?
No, that's not what's going on there. You want to pick up that smoker? Set this down up here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Hand me that smoker there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to smoke these bees down a little bit. Because I'm going to pull off this top box, and I'm going to substitute it with the box behind you guys. Now, what you can do, if you'll spread out around the apiary, not standing in front of the hives, I need to get to that one and back to this one. And you probably don't want to stand right in front of this hive.
You need to get to this
I
one?
need to get to that hive there. That's the hive with the queen I want to bring over here. And before I do, I'll give it a puff of smoke. This hive's going to be a lot more gentle.
What's the jar?
The jar is a feeder.
Oh.
So that's another way to feed your bees. Just a mason jar with a few holes in it. And you turn it upside down until it stops dripping, pulls a vacuum, and the bees can just go get food whenever they like. And one of the reasons I've chosen this hive as the donor is that it is otherwise fairly weak.
But it managed to retain its queen, whereas the other one lost its queen.
Correct. But the queen from this one actually originally came from that hive when I did a split.
Oh.
So now we're going to reintroduce her.
What's the disc?
The disc is a pheromone.
Oh, okay.
And that is there to help stimulate feeding. And I'm just going to shake the bees off of some of these outer frames. that I don't need to replace until I get into the brood chamber.
What are you looking for when you're looking for the queen?
Brood is the first thing I look for. Here you'll see pollen. There's pollen in here. You can kind of see all the different colors. You should grab that, pass that around for you. And what I'm doing is I'm taking the frames out that really aren't drawn and the bees aren't living on yet, so I get to really the core of the hive. And it's just the core that I'm going to bring over to the other hive. So I do disturb it as little as I can.
So how do you know which one has the queen?
She'll be with the brood, and I'm not there yet. So we've got 3 good frames here.
Looks like it's getting more crowded.
So why wouldn't you want to just take this box and put it in that hive?
You can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's but I don't want this to be 3 high.
Oh, okay.
It just gets too unwieldy and too heavy. And there is your brood. So the queen should be in here. See all that cap stuff in the middle? And there's white larvae and things in there. That is your brood chamber.
Oh, wow.
So far, I do not see the queen.
Is she any larger?
She's quite a bit larger. Let me, since I know I'm dealing now with 3 frames, I'm just going to keep these together before and I'm going to make room.
Can more than one queen survive in a hive?
No, not for very long. Occasionally, sisters will live together, or a mother and daughter. That is pollen. Now that's a nice frame of honey over on that side, folks. Whenever you're going into your brood chamber, start from the outside and work your way in, or you run the risk of killing your queen. So.
Why is that?
God save the queen.
Because she likes to live in the middle, and if you just grab that middle frame, you run the risk of essentially squeezing her. Let's see what.
So taking from the outside just gives you more room to work?
Yep. And I'm just making room here so I can put these frames in, and you'll see them go right back into the hive. It's going to get a little exciting here, folks, but okay. Now, I'm going to go over here.
So what do your neighbors think about all your bees?
Actually, they're really cool.
Oh, that's.
I am very fortunate.
You give them honey.
You bet I do.
You never have to worry about saying.
No, they're very tolerant. They're very good neighbors. There's a brand new bee there. I'm looking to see if I can find the queen. I don't see her here.
And they're always on one side?
No, that's just how this hive is right now. They should completely spread out both sides of the frame. In fact, the next frame should have brood on both sides of it.
So what you're doing is you're mixing up the hives, right?
I am.
And is that usually successful, or do they
This
ever
will be
resent it?
successful
And
because I have brood.
do they resent it?
You can, they can reject the queen, and that's not really
Do they
important.
need therapy afterwards?
I'll put that back in once I'm looking to see
Bee psychologist.
where my queen is. And so far, I don't see her.
She's considerably bigger.
She is. If I can find her, she's quite a bit bigger. And I didn't find her yesterday too. Oh, there she is.
Where
Wait
is
a
she?
minute. Wait a minute.
Over here?
No, that's not her.
She should wear a name tag.
Excuse me.
That's right, you're fine.
Or a crown, you know.
Little crown. A lot of people will put a little red dot on her. or a colored dot, depending on what year she was born.
Does
And
the
she-
queen also only live 30 days?
No, she will live up to 5 years.
Wow.
I do
How
not
long does
see
the average
her.
honeybee live?
What's that? A standard worker bee is only going to live about 30 days.
Right.
Same with the drone.
Oh, it's a pheromone.
It's gonna be bees following you all day now.
Dude,
With any luck, there's a
riding a
larva
bike with
of
bees
the
around there.
proper age that if she's not in here, they'll again produce another new queen. But
Yeah, you stepped on it.
You stepped on the queen.
So because these are so far apart, the hives, is that going to be an issue?
no, not
Okay.
at all.
Okay. So when you were saying you wanted to move them to a new hive, you wanted it to be closer. That's just if you're starting moving
A
them
brand
from
new
a
hive.
brand new hive. Okay.
Yeah. You know what? Unfortunately, folks, I haven't seen the queen, so I will question whether or not this will be successful if somehow she took off or got injured somehow.